Hello everyone, so in this video I want to overview how to make the Comfrey leaf massage muscle rub and ointment. Okay, this is just one of those home herbal remedies that you will be using again and again and again. We never seem to have enough of it. We must make absolute jar loads of this, regularly. We always seem to go through it. And Comfrey, as you'll see from section 2 of the workbook, is just one of the most powerful and revered topical herbal treatments for any kind of muscular, skeletal or nervine based pain or trauma. So for things like muscle pain, muscle aches, sprains, strains, repetitive strain injuries, bursitis, arthritis, backache, sciatica, wherever there's pain, wherever there's inflammation, wherever there's discomfort, anywhere in the body, sports injuries, things like that, it's just the #1 ointment and herb to use. So the other name for Comfrey is often called knit bone because it's used a lot. It was always used in traditional herbal medicine to help set bones properly. You used to create strong poultices and compresses around the site of trauma to help the bones knit, and there's strong evidence around that. It speeds up the recovery of connective tissues. So essentially wherever there's any form of trauma, any injury, any damage to anything on the body like muscles, bones, ligaments, tendons, joints, connective tissue, then this ointment is the #1 remedy to turn to. We use it in our clinic all the time. We make loads of these up for our patients to use, to take home and use. So it's a one you wanna make for sure. The other beauty of this one is it's really simple to make. Comfrey leaf you can grow really easily if you want to in your garden, or it's everywhere out in the wild, in forests, in copses, in hedgerows. You can find Comfrey leaf really easily. Okay, so all you need for this, it just requires one, I guess, slightly more specialty ingredient which you can get off Amazon really easily, and that's beeswax pellets. Okay, so they come in, you can get them in 100 grams or 500 grams, whatever you need, and they're just dried pellets of beeswax which we're using to solidify the ointment, to make it semi-solid as such. Okay, so other than that, all we're using is extra virgin olive oil and the Comfrey leaf itself. So all we need to do is get a bain-marie. So we've got a saucepan of water here that's been boiling, and in that we've got a glass jar filled with 500 mils of extra virgin olive oil. So half a litre of extra virgin olive oil. You put that over the hot water, so you're raising it to raise the temperature of the olive oil, so that when you put the beeswax in, the beeswax melts. Okay, so in here, so you've got 500 mils of extra virgin olive oil to 50 grams of beeswax pellets, and all you do is pour your beeswax into your oil. Turn up the heat and then keep on stirring until all of the beeswax is dissolved. Okay, till you can't see the beeswax anymore. And this oil was already slightly warm before I started this, just to speed it up a little bit. If you're doing it from cold, it will take about 7 or 8 minutes maybe. But if the oil is already hot like it is now, probably in about a minute, those beeswax pellets should be they're already dissolving now. Okay, so the beeswax pellets are what's, like I say, we're melting it so that when it re-solidifies, it's gonna have a nice ointment-like consistency. Okay, so those beeswax, so we've got 500 mils of extra virgin olive oil, 50 grams of beeswax, and you can obviously extrapolate that if you're making bigger batches. So when we do it, we'll often make a litre batch. So we'll put a litre of extra virgin olive oil and therefore 100 grams of beeswax. Okay. So once that's all melted down now, you will then want to turn the heat down to the lowest possible temperature. And then you need to fill your olive oil bowl with as much Comfrey leaf as you can literally stuff in there. Okay, so we went out yesterday and collected this Comfrey leaf and kept it in an airtight container so it hasn't degenerated or deteriorated at all. Comfrey leaf, it's very easy to identify, particularly when it's got the flowers on. It's got a very unique aroma. The leaves, you'll see the information on the leaves in section 2 of the workbook. Okay, so all you want to do is get a good load of those comfrey leaves, and you want to put that into the oil and give it a really good stir so all of the leaves are covered in oil, so there's no dry leaves. And if you're doing this out of season, so if you're watching this and comfrey season is gone and you've missed it, you can do this just as readily and just as well with dried comfrey leaves, which you can get anywhere, any good herbal apothecary or online herb dealer will sell dried comfrey leaf. Or if you're growing it yourself, or go out if you're going forage it, collect more than you need so you can dry it, so you can make this ointment, in a few months' time once foraging season is over. So now all of that comfrey leaf is completely saturated in the oil and beeswax. And all you do is turn the temperature down to the lowest possible temperature, as low as you can get it, and then you just need to let that simmer for a good few hours. As a minimum, really 2 hours. You want that to be just simmering away at the lowest possible heat for 2 hours. The longer you leave it, the stronger it's going to become. Okay, so try and leave it for 2 to 3 hours, so that all of the medicinal properties from the comfrey leaf transfer from the leaf into the oil. Okay, so when you strain out the leaves, the oil has got all of those medicinal properties that when you massage it into the skin as an ointment, you've got all of that healing property. So we're going to fast forward now. So we've fast forwarded 3 hours. That's been simmering there for 3 hours. We favour 3 hours. You can do it in 2, but I think if you're going to go to the effort, just leave it simmering away there for an extra hour. So aim for 3 if you can. Okay. So we're going to imagine that's been simmering away for 3 hours. All you need to do then is take a new jar, and you want to strain the oil while it's still warm into a new jar. Okay, so a sterilised dry jar. Okay, and you want to just pour all that oil out, and then once you've got most of it out, the next thing to do is you need a cheesecloth or a muslin cloth or something like that. Put that over the jar, make a slight well in it, like a top of a volcano, the crater, and then pour all of the leaves and all of the oil into that, because within the leaves is masses of oil and masses of medicinal properties that you want to wring out and extract. Okay, you don't want to just throw those leaves away without straining them and squeezing them to get every last iota of medicinal oil out of those leaves. Okay, so you put them into your cheesecloth, and then give it a really, really good. You'll be amazed at how much extra you get out of this. Okay, you probably add in another quarter. I would say you add in another 25% by volume by really wringing it out. So you really want to give it some welly on this one. Okay. And then once you've done that, you've then got your comfrey still warm oil. Okay, and then in the written instructions, I've said how you can add some essential oils. So you can add in some rosemary, so 10 drops of rosemary essential oil, which is a great muscle relaxant. 10 drops of boswellia or frankincense essential oil, which is a great painkiller and analgesic and anti-inflammatory. Give it a really, really good stir. So it's all mixed together. And then all you need to do is get dry, sterilised jars. Pour your ointment into those while it's still warm, because obviously once it solidifies you can't pour it. If you are adding your essential oils, make sure you add it in before you bottle it, so you can give it a really good stir. Put a label on it, put your date, put what's on it, put what essential oils you've used, so Comfrey muscle ointment or whatever it is, and make up your loads and loads of jars Within about an hour, that will be solid. It will be the consistency of raw coconut oil. And all you do is just get a couple of teaspoons of that and massage it into any injury or trauma in the body. It's profoundly effective for alleviating symptoms, reducing pain, but most importantly, speeding up recovery time. With absolute sincerity, we've been using this for decades, and the impact upon sports injuries and pain and recovery time is profound. So go out, get your Comfrey, get your beeswax, and make this ointment.